MAGA infighting is something that I absolutely love, but very rarely do we see it on the CNN NewsNight panel. But not in this one. In this clip, we're going to see Caroline Sunshine, the MAGA airhead, repeatedly go at Scott Jennings over Donald Trump's illegal and just sheer stupid war in Iran. As usual, let's watch the clip in full and I'll give you guys my thoughts towards the end. Let's get into it.
Good evening, I'm Abby Phillip in New York. 23 years ago, a banner behind George W. Bush declared mission accomplished for combat operations in the Iraq War. Now, obviously, it wasn't, not even close. And tonight, Donald Trump is declaring the same thing, despite his Middle East war still ongoing. The Iran war is nearly 7 months old. Despite initial promises of days and weeks, gas prices are still above $4 a gallon nationwide. And the Strait of Hormuz is still nowhere close to safe or shipping as much oil as it was before the bombs. Now, America's munitions are dangerously low, according to reports as well. 18 Americans have lost their lives, more than 750 have been hurt, and that's the number that we know. And as far as public opinion goes, only 31% of Americans approve of this war. Yet, with no end in sight, the president is having his own mission accomplished moment. Before we open it up here to the table, we invite you at home to join our debate. Head to cnn.com/Abby, weigh in there. We'll get to some of your comments throughout the show. Politically and just as a factual matter, it's not mission accomplished. The war is not over. It's still ongoing. Why would President Trump even try to put that imagery out there on the cusp of a midterm elections?
Well, I disagree. I think we've won the war. I'm just waiting for the president to go before the American people and formally announce it. I mean, we've sunk their Navy. We've destroyed their military. We've decimated their defense industrial complex. They have no way to produce a nuclear weapon tonight. And it's been confirmed over the last few days. We've cleared all the mines out of the Strait of Hormuz. Not a single barrel of oil has been exported by Iran since we reinstituted the naval blockade in July. And at the same time, the U.S. Navy has assisted in shipping out of the Gulf 750 million barrels of oil. By any meaningful metric, we have won this war. The president needs to tell the American people that we've won the war and all the ways that we've won the war. And I assume we're going to have to leave some surveillance over there. And that's the truth. Well, and I think that's what we're going to hear from him pretty soon.
Just to start with one of the last things that you mentioned, the amount of oil that is coming out of the Strait of Hormuz because we're escorting them, that's still about half of what it was before the war. And on top of that, I mean, a couple of things. One, reports are that CNN has reported that Iran has been active at these nuclear sites. All the nuclear material is still in Iran. They have reconstituted their missile program. They have not abandoned their support and funding of terrorism around the globe. And we still have military assets in the region. I mean, I think people forget that there are, tens of thousands of troops that are there right now because we are in a war posture with Iran right now.
We were told that we were launching this war because we needed to prevent them from getting a nuclear weapon, something that I think we can all agree with. I don't want to see Iran acquire a nuclear weapon, but I do think that it has just been delayed, not necessarily the threat eliminated. And on top of that, I think the Iranians have now realized they might not even need a nuclear weapon at all because they realize that they can control the Strait of Hormuz.
They don't.
The commercial traffic is nowhere near as it was before Trump launched his attack on Iran. And gas prices just hit a record high for the month of August.
CNN's own reporting has declared that Iran has lost control of the Strait of Hormuz.
How can you say
They
mission
don't control the
accomplished,
Strait.
though?
It's an old talking
How
point.
can you say mission accomplished?
I think just as on a factual basis, even by the most generous estimates, we're getting 10, maybe 15 ships out of the Strait of Hormuz compared to 110 before the war. So whether Iran has full control, we don't have full control because traffic is not what it used to be. We are still dealing with a Strait of Hormuz that is choked up. It doesn't all have to go through the Strait.
We've also come up with other ways to get the oil out. That might be
true, but it is also a fact that the Strait of Hormuz is not open.
I think that calling mission accomplished is the equivalent of saying that Scott Jennings is going to start at shooting guard next to Jalen Brunson next year for the New York Knicks. Like, that's not.
That's a non-zero chance. I am from Kentucky.
That's just not a reality. And the reason that I state that is not just the Strait of Hormuz, but if you would have told the American people that we would have more than a dozen United States military members who were lost, or more than close to 1,000 military members who were injured in this war, they would say, wait a minute, that's not what we were promised. If you were talking about gas prices that are the highest they've ever been, that's not what we were promised. And not just gas prices, but we're talking about farmers in Iowa and Ohio and Indiana, like middle America, because fertilizer prices are going up. There are real consequences to Pete Hegseth's incompetence. That's first and foremost. The second thing is the Strait of Hormuz was not closed before we went into Iran. Like, that was, I don't even understand why we did not comprehend through a strategic military analysis that would be the first thing that the Iranian regime would do. The last point I want to make is we went in and bombed their regime, allegedly. We thought we took out their leadership. You know what happened? The same regime is still in place. This has not been regime. I don't know what this is. And the problem is we don't get a clear answer from anybody. I think that the biggest problem we have with this war is transparency. Why are we there and how do we get out? Donald Trump can't answer it. Pete Hegseth can't answer it. And right now, Marco Rubio has to be Dolly Parton this week because he takes on every role of the United States government.
So, Caroline, I mean, Scott is trying to argue that Trump should go out there and tout a complete finished war. Is that the right strategy?
I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic to hear the president say mission accomplished, because we can go home. Right? Because when you win the Super Bowl, you don't stay on the field. You go to the after party. You go home. You go to Disneyland. And President Trump has an opportunity to be one of the most consequential presidents of the modern era in regards to the Middle East, because history, if he takes this victory lap and goes home with his win, because history doesn't judge American presidents and their success in the Middle East by how long they stay. It judges them by how little they stay there, which is why George H.W. Bush is more successful than George W. Bush, who you advised, which is why I don't want you going anywhere near Donald Trump's presidency to go ruin it with more of your Iraq 2005 talking
points. Hold on, but do you think that Trump has...
Hold
on, do you think that Trump has in fact won the war?
Mission accomplished.
Or do you think that he should just say it?
We can go home right now. At the end of this show,
I know that you don't support this war, but there's a difference between actually winning it and just dropping things as it is and then heading out.
If we leave
the win
and go
is depriving, as I just said, the win is American presidents are judged not by how long they stay in the Middle East, but by how little.
The
win is to take our W and come home.
Quick question. If we leave today, if we come home today, is Israel safer today than they were yesterday, or no?
I'm an American citizen, and my concern is the United States safer?
Let me just...
I just want to say real quickly.
I need to give Scott an opportunity to respond to what Caroline just said.
Oh, look, my view is we've won. We will probably have to leave some assets in the region for monitoring.
Why?
The
president said we won. We go home.
I would take Israel off the chain and say, listen, it's your backyard. And I would tell the Gulf allies who are now aligned against Iran, thanks to the president's leadership, do what you have to do to keep these people in check. I assume we're going to have a CIA plane in the air for the forever to monitor all their nuclear sites.
Though. If we won, can we go home?
I think that's perfectly fine.
So you're not answering me. You're not even looking me in the eye.
You were saying you would take Israel
off the chain.
What does that mean?
You do whatever you have to do to keep yourself safe.
So you're basically saying they're on their own?
No, they're our strongest ally in the region. But as a matter of warfare against Iran, we've done our job, and the president has won this war. Now, Israel has different equities because they have to live next door to these people.
We have not won. We can go home.
We're not in a better position
Can we go home? And why won't you look me in the eye and answer a simple question, which is, if we have won the war, we can go home. That's what you agree, right?
Well, number one, I don't answer.
When you win, that's what you do.
I don't know you, and I don't answer to you. That's number one. Number two, I think we've won, and I think we can leave assets in the region that are in the best interest of the United States.
What are the assets that we should leave in the region? If we've won, why do we need to leave assets in the region?
Because we're not isolationists. We have assets all over the world.
But if we've won,
which we haven't. Let's be clear.
We won World War II, and we still have troops in Europe. Is that okay with you?
Are you talking about ships?
It's like, do you want to just head to the?
Yeah. Are you talking about ships? You want to keep ships in the region with hundreds or thousands of American soldiers on them?
I think patience with the naval blockade has worked for the president, and I wouldn't prejudge how soon you would stop doing that, but I think at a minimum you'll have aerial monitoring and satellite monitoring of Iran and any other rogue nation forever.
Okay, the American people don't think that we've won this war. We've asked them in surveys, they've said no. 52% of America says that they're actually worse off because of the war. 75% of America feels like the war has cost them more than they were willing to ever pay. So we can sit and have a conversation about if we won the war. If we have won the war, this is not what I thought winning was going to be. I don't think this is what the majority of Republicans thought winning was going to be. Seeing our gas prices go up 40%, energy prices going up 13%. When are we going to determine winning to be taking that $120 billion that we spend in Iran and putting it here, housing, healthcare, making sure people have wages increasing? That's what winning should look like for all Americans, and that is not what...
Well, I'm just curious, when you say this isn't what I thought winning would look like, what did you think it would look like?
Scott,
winning looks like no new wars like Trump.
Let me let Josh respond.
I'm curious.
Before we started this war, the only thing that was in between us and what we wanted was Iran not having nuclear weapons, was a set of successful negotiations. That is what is between us and them not having nuclear weapons.
No, we don't need successful
before we start. But yeah, we do. They're in the same. The Strait of Hormuz was not closed before this war started. Like Abby said, 170 oil tankers were going through there every single day. Yes. Why are only 10 going through, Scott? And listen,
we have escorted 750 million barrels of oil through the Strait.
I do want you to actually answer that question, because this is just emblematic of like a broader glossing over of reality. If you're claiming the Strait of Hormuz is open, why are there only 10 tankers coming through the strait now?
Well, first of all, I'm not claiming it. Brad Cooper, the commander of CENTCOM, is talking about it.
If you and the administration, the president, is also claiming it, why are there only 10 tankers coming out of the strait right now?
Well, there's tankers going through at the escort of the United States Navy. 750 million barrels of oil.
I know, but you're not answering my question. It used to be 110 a day. Now it's 10.
We don't need as many to go through right now.
We don't need that. Tell that to the American people who are paying record high gas prices for August.
It is a small fraction of what it was before. Is that not emblematic of a Strait of Hormuz that is not
I'll give you a strategic reason why ultimately it doesn't matter, because we have figured out how to move oil out of the region.
So then why haven't gas prices gone down, Scott? You just said it doesn't matter.
So we have figured out how to move oil out of the region, not entirely through the Strait of Hormuz, is number one. And so we have basically taken away the strategic advantage of being able to close.
But gas prices are still elevated in this country as a result of the war. Yeah. So what you're saying and the reality that Americans are living with are not the same thing.
They're eventually going to come down, just like Trump said this war would only last 4 to 5 weeks, and now it's dragged on for nearly 7 months.
And all of this is happening at the same time that we produce enough oil to make ourselves energy independent.
Okay,
Scott, that's
apart from what's happening.
The point is that Iran is emboldened now. Prior to this war,
emboldened?
Yes,
their economy is in free fall. They have hyperinflation.
The entire
their
world
leader is a cardboard cutout. They are not emboldened.
Shutting down the strait under our pressure. They are emboldened.
The economic stranglehold we have on them has not emboldened anybody.
So then why won't they make a deal?
They had a deal. Why would they try?
Because they're religious fanatics who are trying to bring about the end of the world. They're not deal makers.
So you're agreeing with Josh?
Scott, can I ask you a question?
Josh just said that Iran is emboldened. The regime is the same. They are now backs against the wall. You just confirmed that they're religious fanatics. So you're saying nothing has really changed.
Well, I mean,
mission accomplished.
I have argued from the beginning it was going to be near impossible to make a deal with religious fanatics who believe that ultimately they'd like to bring about the end of the world and destroy Israel and destroy America.
At what point
we tried. They didn't want to do it.
So at what point do
we strangled them to death economically.
At what point do we get to the objectives that were stated at the beginning? Prevent Iran from ever having a nuclear weapon.
We're there.
Prevent them from being a malign actor in the region.
Just eliminated.
We're there.
Neither of those things have happened.
Iran
still has all of its nuclear material in its possession. A, and B. Look at this. I mean, look at this full screen. All of Iran's proxies have been continuing with their malign activities in the region. The Houthis have been active. The Saudis are responding to Houthi attacks. Israel is responding to Hezbollah attacks. These have all happened since the resumption of hostilities on July 7th. So that doesn't even count everything that's happened in the 7 months since the war began. Again, this is a question of reality versus rhetoric and sort of spin, political spin. There's no evidence that Iran's influence in the region has waned, that they've changed their ways, that they have given up
No evidence.
on
The entire region is allied against
that
them.
they have given up.
Are you disputing that
you're-
the entirety of the Middle
I
East
am
is not
talking-
aligned against Iran thanks to the president?
You are talking about something completely different.
No, you
I'm
said
asking
you said their influence in the region. Their influence in the region is dramatically diminished.
I'm not talking
They have
about,
no navy. They have no
I'm talking
military.
about
They have no
I'm talking
allies.
about
They
with
have
their-
no economy,
Scott,
and they export no
Scott,
oil. Do you not know these things?
Who are you talking about? Because I'm talking
Iran.
about. I'm talking about their proxies. Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about the nation of Iran and its ability to do anything. They
So-
cannot
so-
export a barrel of oil today, and you think
Scott,
they're emboldened? That is
Scott,
crazy talk.
I'm talking about their allies, Iran's allies. Are they telling them to back down? The answer is no. The answer is no. There's no question that Iran is weaker today in terms of their economy, but this is also
It's
an
more than weaker.
authoritarian
They're in free
nation
fall. They're in a
where
spiral.
they don't care about the well-being of their people. And they, to your point, you just said it, they're still religious fanatics. They still want death to America, death to Israel. They still want nuclear weapons.
Wanting an ability
And-
to pull it off are two different things.
And
But they never
the,
had
ex-
that
and the
ability.
experts have said that they have not stopped in their pursuit of nuclear weapons. They're going back to those same sites that were bombed and they're digging them out.
Exactly. It's just been delayed, not eliminated. And I will say, too, it's not just the Iranians who have been emboldened. It's folks like Russia as well. That's why we saw CIA Director John Ratcliffe fly out there, because we had intelligence that said that Putin was thinking about potentially invading NATO and causing that and triggering that, because he knows that our resources are spread thin when it comes to Iran, that we've depleted our supply of precision grade weapons. And then Putin's looking at it thinking, well, maybe it's a good time to test the resolve of NATO, because we already know that Trump likes to basically, I can't.
Well, it is interesting because literally today, the president downplayed Russia's role in helping Iran, which is contra everything that even his own administration is saying. We don't have time to play the SOT, but here's what he said. He said, I think Russia has behaved quite well having to do with the Strait of Hormuz.
And that's the thing, is that this war, because it was, I don't think it was the right strategic call. We launched this war without a clear mission, despite him saying mission accomplished. I don't think we've achieved any of those objectives. And now it has emboldened not just the Iranians, but the Russians as well.
You keep saying they're how could you possibly
Because they're not at the
say
negotiating
a
table,
country-
Scott. They're not at the negotiating
a country
table.
being
Wouldn't
emboldened,
if they were on their heels, don't you think that they would be at the negotiating?
Their
So they would
economy
be at the
is in
negotiating table
shambles.
then. Why aren't we
Their
negotiating
leaders are
with them?
dead.
Why
the
have-
guy in
why
charge
are-
is a
why are we
cardboard
not negotiating
cutout.
with
How
them?
can you embolden a piece of cardboard? I don't understand this word.
Their
not true.
regime is still
I mean, look,
in control.
Have you seen him? Is he
listen,
alive?
I understand.
Nobody's seen the guy.
I understand what you're saying about how he hasn't been out front in public, but even
Yes.
the Trump administration acknowledges that he is pulling the strings behind the scenes. They're not acting as if he is a cardboard cutout.
But I also think
they're
this
living
is-
in reality.
This is
They're
important
living in
because-
reality in which he's still in charge.
When,
of
Yeah,
the
but-
regime.
when you're too afraid to go out in public, I wouldn't call that emboldened,
And
whether he's alive
he is
or not.
surrounded by hardliners who are calling the shots.
But this
in
is
Iran right
important
now.
because, Scott, at the beginning of this war, you said that success was going to be defined as the regime being overthrown.
Never said that.
And that has not happened.
Never said that.
And
Success
so now
for
you
me has
say it's
always
a
been-
win. So I just want to be clear, we don't need to have the regime fully change in Iran for this to be a win.
I just want to be clear.
That
You
is
don't
what
know-
you
you
said
don't
at
know-
the beginning
you
of
don't
this
know-
war. You also said it would be 4 to 6 weeks.
No, I never said that.
Yes, you did.
My
The Trump
definition of
Maybe we
success.
can roll the tape later.
My definition of success has always been, and I think it's a worthy goal, they can't have the ability to possess or build a nuclear
Which
weapon.
is great
I
because
believe we have
at the
done that.
beginning of this war and now, the U.S. intelligence community has assessed that they did not want one, they weren't building one, they didn't have one.
Well, that's
Why
not what
didn't you believe the
that's not what their
intelligence
negotiators
agencies?
told Mr. Wickoff and Mr. Kushner when they
But
went
do you
to
not
negotiate.
believe the intelligence agency?
All right.
Do you not believe,
they were
you
not
not
having
believe the
that.
president's
I
son-in-law
don't
and his
believe you had a phone
envoy?
call with
No,
Mitch
because they
McConnell, I'll
shouldn't
tell
be
you that.
negotiating on
I
their
don't believe you had a 20-minute phone call with Mitch McConnell, and I don't think a lot of people do
we're
either.
not,
You
we're
sound
not
like
gonna
a garden
change the
variety
subject.
conspiracy
We are
theorist.
not going to change the subject in the middle of this.
How is he? Have you talked to him lately?
Next
Yeah.
for us, ICE arrests are soaring.
Do you not believe the president's son-in-law and his... Hell no! Because they are there purely for personal gain, just like Donald Trump and the rest of the Trump family. Honestly, I do not understand who Scott Jennings thinks he's talking to. I believe he's genuinely trying to take the mick out of the American people. Genuinely, it makes absolutely no sense. The fact that Scott Jennings can sit on CNN and try and insinuate to the crowds, to people, that America has won this war. Okay, why are they still present? Why is the war still going on? Why has Donald Trump not walked away? You see, the problem for this administration that I have to understand is that they have now become so connected with the fact that people have seen that they tell so many lies that even if they were telling the truth, which I don't believe they are, they're going to have a hard time, a difficult time selling it to the people. Honestly, Caroline's made some genuinely good points, and I think she's an airhead, so the majority of the time, I believe she's actually wrong. But some of the points that it is that she made in regards to Scott's history, that's the history of someone who's a warmonger. He's a warmonger. He likes the fact that it is that this war is taking place. But more importantly, he licks Donald Trump's boots so much that it doesn't matter what Donald Trump says or does, he is not going to throw his orange daddy under the bus. And it's good to see someone like Caroline to be able to call that out, because the reason as to why Donald Trump has not said to the American people that we've won the war and then walked away is simply because America hasn't won the war. And they can't walk away. They can't. Iran has literally got Donald Trump, in my personal opinion, by the balls. And Iran are going to drag this out until the midterms so that Donald Trump is affected from a political standpoint as much as possible. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. As usual, see you guys in the next one.